Hello there, fellow hockey fans. This is the Hardcore Puckhead with this latest review and update of the Stanley Cup playoff races. Things are getting topsy-turvy in the Metropolitan Division. At one point, the Pittsburgh Penguins actually surpassed both New York teams that were in second place in the Metropolitan Division. It's all here on this, though the Rangers surpassed them last night when they won their game. As I was about to say, it's all here on this nice and beautiful NHL app. Get it? It's wonderful. But anyway, so Pittsburgh had been in the wild card picture for the longest time, and they recently passed the Islanders. And after blowing out Washington on Sunday, they had passed the Rangers, so they were in second place. Now, actually, the thing was, the Rangers and the Penguins actually had identical records. They had identical records at the time: 40, 24, and 8. Identical records, identical number of rows, regulation, overtime wins with 37. So head-to-head had to come into play, and Penguins at the moment have a 2-1 lead with one more game of the season series to go. So that's what moved Pittsburgh up to second place. Of course, they're back down to third. But still, it's a better position than where they were. What I hate about this, though, is it lessens the possibility of the New York series. Because actually it pretty much, really it immensely lessens it according to the standings. Because according to the standings, the wild cards would switch divisions. The Islanders would be playing in that Atlantic half of the Eastern Conference playoffs. I think they could beat Florida, but Tampa Bay and Boston, that's another story. Speaking of Florida, Tampa Bay, the Florida teams are back on top. Florida first, Bolts second. Bruins are a close third. Detroit is a close fourth. Detroit is 6 points out of first place, but they're hanging on to that wild card position, which is where the Islanders are now. The Islanders are at the #1 wild card position. Detroit is 1 point ahead of Philly. Philly is still knocking on that door, but are they going to break through? They actually passed Detroit. They actually passed Detroit briefly, so anything's possible. Over to the Western Conference. The Kings are in. Actually, the Kings and Washington, the East, they both clinched. So congratulations to them. They're the first two teams to clinch. Washington clinched days before LA did. LA got in on Saturday when they won, and Arizona got beat in regulation. Yes, LA's clinching had less to do with wild card position and more to do with the division, because they were going to clinch a better record than divisional fourth place Arizona before they would Minnesota. And the rule is top 3 in each division get automatic spots. You clinch third place in the division, you're automatically in. And LA clinched third place, so that got them in. That's how bad the Pacific is when you have the 2 wild card positions are held by Central Division teams, and the team chasing those 2 is also the Central. It's awful. It's an awful division, and the Kings are leading that division by 4 points. That lead is getting a little bit bigger. It used to be very, very close. Now it's just a little close, but not as dramatic. But it still should be nail biting here in this state. LA, Anaheim, San Jose. That's the order. The Ducks 89, Sharks 88. They are knocking on that division door. Who's going to win that Pacific? Well, chances are we'll probably need a final day to just well, not the final day. Maybe the final day. Maybe the final day, because the Ducks play on the 10th, which is the new last day of the season. The last day of the season was the 9th, but the 10th is the date that those 2 postponed games will take place. The ones that were postponed due to that blizzard that hit about a few months ago. So the Avalanche. Let's talk about the Avalanche. The Avalanche won 3 straight, and 5 out of 6. The Avs were in Canada for a little over a week. A rough loss in Winnipeg, but we followed that with wins in Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton in that order. And we are still a point ahead for the wild card race. We're in the second wild card spot. We're 1 point ahead of Minnesota, who has also been winning, but their wins have been coming via the shootout. And the beautiful thing about hockey is a win isn't exactly a win in the NHL. They split those up. So as far as the regulation overtime wins is concerned, we're up by 3, 34-31. So even if Minnesota gets a point tonight, it ties us, we're still ahead. Now the problem is the Avalanche don't play again until Thursday, and Minnesota's playing tonight at home against LA. Now LA should beat them, but I don't know. I thought the Blackhawks were going to beat them, but that didn't happen. And that was in Chicago, so I see why the Avalanche kick their asses constantly. But hashtag Avs on the Hawks. But on a more serious note, the Central Division, it's still anybody's division. Well, not anybody's division, but when it comes to Dallas, St. Louis, and Chicago, it's anybody's division. Dallas is actually up by 2 points ahead of St. Louis, who was up by 2 points over Chicago. So you have that close race. And as I said before, Washington and LA, they clinch spots. 3 more teams in the West can clinch spots. Dallas is in with a Minnesota regulation loss, which would also benefit the Avalanche too. A regulation loss by Arizona locks in Anaheim and San Jose. So you'd have your top 3. So the top 3 in the Pacific could be decided tonight, but it's just a matter of positioning. And as far as tonight's game is concerned, Philadelphia is in Columbus. That's going to be easy. Columbus has been the hacky sack this season in the NHL. Well, them, and I hate to say this, Toronto, they have been. Buffalo and Edmonton. Those are the punching bags this year. Some would say Montreal. They've been losing everybody, but they're at home against the Ducks. And Washington could lock up the Metropolitan officially, and I think the whole shebang. Well, not the whole shebang. There will still be the President's Trophy, but they can lock up the division and the top record in the Eastern Conference. All you have to do is go to overtime. That's pretty much it. And well, Ottawa sees have a knack of going to overtime, so that should definitely help Washington. Dallas and Chicago run into each other. Oh boy, that's going to be murder. Every Central Division game is murder. It's the most demonic division in the league. Literally everybody is good. Even the Jets are good. They're just having a rough patch. That's how I see it. But the Jets are dangerous too. Now, I said Arizona needs to lose a regulation. They're playing Edmonton though, so maybe the Ducks. Well, the Ducks and Sharks are playing. The Ducks just have to get to overtime. The Sharks have to win, so maybe they'll take care of it themselves. Because y'all know Edmonton can't beat an egg. But then again, neither can Arizona. but yeah, can you believe it though? There's less than 20 days left in the season. 19 days left. And the Stanley Cup playoffs starts in 22 days. It starts on April 13th. That's going to be a great. That's going to be a great 2 months in sports. It's the greatest 2 months in sports. These are the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the races are just getting tighter. The teams have been on the chopping block this past week, and more are coming. So this is the literal definition of the home stretch here, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be gritty. It's gonna be very fun. So with that, I'll end this review by saying, just enjoy the real March Madness, the one in the NHL. No disrespect to college basketball, but as I said in my past videos, this is the real March Madness, the one with the pucks flying. So enjoy that, and until next week, fellow puckheads.